This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem. We've had a main B plus undervolt.
Roger, main B undervolt. Okay, stand by at 13. We're looking.
Hi and welcome to yet another round of favorite images with the UFAH members. We have one more picture from Martine, one awesome picture from Martine again. Today, Martine, tell us, why is this one of your favorite images?
Well, this is one of Nev's famous gigapans, and probably from all the gigapans that I've studied, this one probably has to be the most bizarre. This little bright figure sort of jumped out at me like a sore thumb, especially as it was in the middle of one of the more mundane landscapes. It's very, very bright compared to the surroundings, and I mean, straight away I realised I was looking at something very anomalous. It looks like it's a statue of a clearly defined figure of a man who appears to be wearing a kind of hat and a grand sort of full white or grey moustache. Again, strangely, he's giving a sort of quizzical look towards the camera. Very odd. When I zoomed into this figure, I couldn't quite make out whether, well, first of all, lots of people suggested it looked like Colonel Custer. Linda McClendon put me right and said it's General Custer. Is that right, Billy?
Yes.
he was promoted, I gather.
Yes.
But Billy's made a very interesting comparison. He put up a picture showing a figure from the Spanish Armada, and it's true. It's what it reminds me of too, that it's more of a sort of mariner, you know, of the 15th, 16th century type, the Spanish Armada. Perfect. Anyway, when I zoomed into the figure, I couldn't quite make out whether the head and shoulders were part of this peculiar structure under it. I don't know if you can see just beneath the neck, there's a sort of very blocky kind of structure. I couldn't quite make out whether the head was part of it, whether it was all possibly built together. I couldn't make out whether the head was slightly behind the structure. If it is on it, is it acting like a kind of pedestal for the head, like a memorial to someone famous, maybe? I'll explain in a minute why I say this, but I just wondered whether he was some kind of famous architect for the area or something. It's a bizarre one, and I can't understand. It just absolutely doesn't fit in with anything else around it, and it really does jump out from the middle of the gigapan. Yeah, I mean, some people came up and said that they said, "Oh, it looks like Nikola Tesla." I don't think it does look like Nikola Tesla. Oh, and Mark Twain was another suggestion. But perhaps it's a grave. That's another thing I thought. Or maybe it's some kind of marker, because I know in some countries we have portraits of people on graves, don't we? But we also have statues of people, of famous people. Could it be something like that? Now, the structure beneath the head looks to me like a little house, a little cottagey house, you know, almost like a doll's house, like a Tudor house. And I think, Thomas, you've got a picture
Yes,
to illustrate what I had in mind. You know, the sort of Tudor houses of the 16th century, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but in England we've got many towns that still have these houses and cottages, and there's sort of lots of plasterwork on them, and there's dark wooden beams that are very decorative on the exterior of the buildings. And that's the first thing I thought of, that it was like a little house. Again, it's sort of all standing on a pedestal or a rock of some sort, but the whole image just seems incredibly bizarre, but very, very obviously a head and a face. You can see all the features clearly. You can see the strange little headgear he's wearing, and this amazing handlebar moustache. So I'm really interested to hear what the other guys have to say about it.
Yes, it does look very interesting. Neville, will you be the first one to start?
Yeah. I've actually found stuff like this before myself, and not with a house structure on the bottom of it, like, but like a statue of someone's head, like just a bust, you know. It could be someone famous or something else. If you look now on the pan next to it, you can see there's something else on just slightly to the right of it, but
you're right.
No, left of it. Sorry, the left of it. But it does. It seems the head, you can see it, like you can see it, but the bottom bit, it's weird. It's strange. It's not as if it's square. It's like it looks as if it could be like triangle in the pointing forwards. But then it's got the square bit with the house bit coming up in front of it, and then you've got the head. But the head is like, you can really see it with the eyes and the nose. It could be where the top of the house is. It could be. It looks like a circle. It looks like a ring, rather than square. You know. Don't know. I would. Again, it was a gridded image to start with. Now I've made the pan. I took all the grid off the images, and actually had a hard job trying to do it as well. But it's like the detail's gone. The detail's gone. I think about 40% of the detail is gone because of this grid, you know. But you can still see it. It's still clear, you know. I'm just dying to wait for the PDS images to come of it, the clear ones, and we'll be able to check and see what we found and make sure that they are what we say they are, you know. But that's what it looks like to me, a head. It's a wonder I didn't spot it myself, actually.
Yeah, I just wonder why.
I know. But yes, that's what I think it is. Because on the pan, you can actually see to the left of it, there's other small little buildings as well, which is amazing. What I'll do is I'll try and copy it, and I'll send it through Skype so that you can have a look.
Yes.
Neville, following on from that, when I went back to check it today, to the right of that figure, there's like a little bank, and it's really interesting, isn't it? Because there's like an overhang, and there's like an entrance into the bank as well. I think I might tackle that. Yeah. I might tackle that on another occasion, but that looks interesting as well.
Billy Carson, what's your thoughts on this awesome picture from Martine?
When I saw this a few months ago, it opened my eyes because it's so clear. You can see the mustache. You can clearly see the facial features. It's a stunning image. Right away, I saw that it had like what appeared to be a gable roof underneath the head. And then I noticed that it did have structure, like it was a little cottage. That's the first thing that I thought, like this head was the marker for this cottage, maybe a place of like a museum for this man or whoever he was, for people to go remember stuff about him, going through, maybe see some of the works he's done in his life when he was alive. I don't think it's the grave marker. I mean, it could be, we don't know, but I just too decorative. It just seems like to me a place where people would go to remember a little bit about this person and what he did. And it's so crazy because I looked up, you know, I was trying to figure out what this relates to on Earth, the mustache and the shape of the face. And it was like, you know, the Spaniard Armada type soldiers. When you look it up, the first thing you see is a person like Ponce de Leon and these other, you know, 15th century, 16th century military from Spain. They look just like this guy. It's crazy. You know, it really makes you want to think. What do you say, Martine?
Rami found one as well, and it's on the top of a bank. He's almost silhouetted, but you can pick him up. Do you remember it, Rami? The head of it looked like an old captain, you know, a historical captain of a ship, like a buccaneer.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good one. It's a shame. I don't know if Rami remembers it, but it was a very good.
It makes you want to think, because you start going to yourself, why is there an analog of everything on Mars and Earth? Why is there an analog? There's an analog, you know, what we have on Earth, there's an analog on Mars. What you see on Mars is an analog on Earth.
Yeah.
It really, if you open your eyes and open your mind to think about it, what it's telling you is it was the same exact teachers, the same exact people running things on both planets, because everything is too similar. I can understand, you know, that things can evolve a certain way on different planets, but when you have things virtually almost identical, everything from the way a person looks down to certain types of tools, certain types of construction, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can develop a civilization. You can build things in so many different ways. Why are so many things identical to what's on Earth? It had to be a connection. Just like, you know, when you look back into, on Earth, Christopher Columbus going to America, but before he got there, the Vikings were there. Before the Vikings was the Egyptians. So, and if you look all over the Earth, you see pyramids everywhere. You see symbols that are very similar everywhere. So there's a connection on Earth globally. And I think now we're making the connection, you know, galactically. We're going to another planet within our own solar system that actually has analog things here. And this person, if this person was walking around right now on Earth, nobody would know it wasn't the person from Earth. If this man, and this is an image of a man, if this image of a man was a real person walking around amongst us, our average height, we would let him walk right by us, and we wouldn't even recognize that it might not have been a human, that it could have been an alien. We wouldn't know. He looks just like us. He looks like a person from Earth. Yeah. This is an amazing discovery. When I put it on Instagram, it went crazy. Everybody went crazy on Instagram for this one because they can relate to it so easily. Other things, a little bit ambiguous, but this was so easy to relate to that people loved it right away.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you, Billy. Rami?
Billy was hitting it right on. This is brilliant image. It's fantastic. It should be right up front with all the best of them. You know, there is a saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And this is a perfect example for that. Because, I mean, you can study this for a long, long time. And you can talk and talk and talk about this for a long time. But it speaks for itself. I mean, when I looked at it and my jaw dropped, you know, and I said, wow, you know. It's as clear as one can get, I guess, right now. Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful. It's also beautiful. It has it has artistic qualities. It has passion into this this thing. It radiates it. I can feel it. It's also, you know, that a symbol is worth 1,000 pictures. I think that this object can also be treated as a symbol. because it represents, and there's so much behind it that, like, you can think or speculate or you know, and it does carry that energy. It does have it. It's what else can I say? It's beautiful, and it's like 10 stars out of 5.
Thank you, Rami, for your opinion on it. I am sitting here and looking at it, and when Martine talked about the cottage house, I see what she mean now, and I had some trouble understanding why she sent me this picture of a house before we even start this Skype conversation. But I do understand now. And when we are talking about people who's known for something in architecture or something that has his statue, memorial site, or whatever it might be, then I can't help thinking of when I went to Legoland with my son for a few weeks ago. You know, the little place in, the big place in Denmark where all these Lego constructions are, and complete housing and buildings and ferries and boats and trains in Lego. And I couldn't help imagine seeing this cottage house in front of me with someone taking a hit and putting it on top of this house just because he could. How weird no matter how weird it might sound or may be, but somehow that was kind of my first thought when I saw this house. That was this Lego building and someone attaching a head on top of that and using this house as a foundation for the head. But it's a great image, really great one. I think the other guys here have said what there is to say about it. It's a great one. Thank you for sharing that one, Martine, with us.
My pleasure.
Yes. And we are gonna end this episode here until we see you again. Take care. Bye.
Bye.